We continue to look at this list of benefits Paul indicates that we have as Christians. He gave those as he made his appeal to the Philippians to be one in spirit. Again, he wrote in Philippians 2:1-4, and pay attention to the context today. We'll need to be reminded of what it is. If you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, and we do, if any comfort from his love, and we do, if any fellowship with the Spirit, and we do, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and purpose. So as believers, we have encouragement, comfort, fellowship, tenderness, and compassion. Today I want to focus on the phrase, of any tenderness and compassion. What does Paul mean by this? He's saying that if, and remember that this if is not real iffy, it means that we do. If we have any tenderness and compassion, and we do. Now, remember the context in which he's writing. In other words, what comes before this and what comes after this statement. The context of this comment is that we are to make Paul's joy complete by being of one mind and one spirit. So we're to consider others as more important than ourselves. That's the context. So this tenderness and compassion that he's talking about is what we're to have in regards to these other people he is referring to that we're to be one in spirit with. So here's the bottom line. I am to treat people with tenderness and compassion. That's a quality of a believer. Now first, what is tenderness and compassion? Then I want us to think for a second about why I'm to treat people with tenderness and compassion. Let's think about those two things for just a minute. The word tenderness comes from a Greek word, splagnon. Now, it almost has a sound like what it is. You may not like this, but it refers to the bowels. It has often referred to the heart or the seat of the emotion. In general, it refers to our internal organs that are soft. Somebody has translated this word as gut level compassion. The word refers to the ability to give deep-seated emotions and inner feelings. Can you imagine a young man telling a young girl, I love you with all my bowels or all my innards? It'd sound a whole lot better if he said, I loved you from the depth of my heart and from deep down inside. That's what this word means. We are to love each other with that tenderness. It is not referring to a shallow or a sentimental feeling, but rather a deep-seated tenderness. You might say that we are to have a real soft spot in our heart for these other believers. The word compassion is very similar. It is the word oiktermoi, and it means the same thing. In other words, in other places, the root word is translated mercies, talking about the mercies of God. All of this little word study leads us to understand that as believers, we're to have a tender heart and a soft attitude when it comes toward other believers. We're to treat them with mercy and kindness. You may recall that one of the aspects of the fruit of the Spirit is gentleness. We live in a world that too often is characterized by harshness. The weird thing is we're the softest to strangers and the hardest to the people we know and love the most. Listen to the way we respond to our spouses, our kids, our parents, and our close friends. Our words tend to come out cutting and sharp instead of tender and soft. Our words are to be soft, revealing a soft heart. Too often our words reveal impatience and frustration in our speech. I think one of the hardest spiritual disciplines you and I will have to work on is learning to be tender, nice, gentle, and sweet. For some of us, that just goes against our natural disposition. It'll feel forced and fake. So why do it if we have to force it? We do it because that's the way Christ treats us. When Jesus taught us how to pray, he said in Matthew 6:12, to pray, forgive us our sins as we have forgiven those who trespass against us. He also said to another man in Matthew 18:33, shouldn't you have mercy on your fellow servant, just as I had mercy on you? Paul wrote to the Ephesians in chapter 4, verse 32, instead be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. We need to treat people like we want God to treat us. Do you want God to be harsh and unrelenting to you? Do you want him to hold the line and be rough and gruff with you? Think about it today. How do you treat people? Do you have a tender heart, a soft spot in your heart or bowels for people? It amazes me how some of us who claim to be so mature and want to know so much about the Bible, yet we can still be so harsh in our spirit. Here's a thought to carry with you all day today. I need people to be treated by me the way I want God to treat me. Say it like this. I need to treat people the way I want God to treat me. Here's a prayer for today. God, help me not to be harsh, critical, or judgmental. Give me a tender heart and a soft spirit. God bless you.